What do you think of this cozy space? Let us tell you the story of our Adobe shed. The beautiful bamboo shed built by our experts from Majuli, Assam had to be taken down due to some crushing bureaucratic as well as technical reasons. Though disappointed and growing impatient because of all the delays in receiving our housing building permit, we decided to see this as an opportunity to do some trials. We would build a mini Adobe shed, which would not just serve as a storage area and a place to rest, but would be a very rough model of our future Adobe home. First, a rectangular trench was dug as a shallow kind of foundation. We used laterite for the foundation and built up a few layers of a laterite base with cement mortar. The tremendously talented masons Narayanachar and Karunakar expertly laid the stones, along with the workers Hanumantappa and some others. Once we reached sufficient height, Karunakar started stacking up a pillar of laterite laid in a crisscross fashion. The ends stick out like teeth, and the mud bricks of the wall will eventually fix into the grooves tightly like a jigsaw puzzle. The floor area was then filled with mud, and some old leftover cement was laid on the surface. We then bought some recycled wood from a second-hand wooden furniture shop nearby. We're blessed to have Riaz's shop, where he meticulously collects good quality old wood from houses that are demolished. Strong, seasoned, aged, this is better wood at lower costs. The thickest and strongest of these we kept for the wall plates. Wall plates distribute the load exerted from the roof down through the walls without creating pressure points where each rafter meets the wall. There's a lot of intricate masonry involved in preparing the wall plates. Notches need to be made where each rafter will sit. The rafters, by the way, are the series of sloping pieces of wood connecting the top of the roof to the walls.
Rafters have these notch, and you see this one. So alternate this, and then another one of this.
The wood was then painted with something called black Japan, which is supposed to make the wood durable and also keep termites away. In retrospect, after nearly 4 months of really strong monsoons, we see that this alone is not enough. When it comes to our home, we will be doing much more treatment of the woods with organic oils. The wall plates were placed on the pillars, the notches interlocking and sitting beautifully. Not a single nail needed. Before we came the next day, the carpenters had already raised the rafters and were working on squaring the edges. They seem to have connected all the rafters to the middle ridge beam, that's the top edge of the sloping roof, and lifted the whole setup high. Thanks to the masterful masonry, all the components sit snug on the wall plate. Mervyn was quite crushed that he missed witnessing this fascinating step of the process. Next, we needed strips of wood for the battens and tiles to overlay on the roof. For this, we stripped down the material from the earlier bamboo shed, which we were replacing. While one shed came down, another went up. It was the definition of bittersweet. Coming up next, walls. It was going to be Adobe, that is unfired, sun-dried mud bricks, the main material that we will be building our home with. Mervyn had already done a few trials using specific proportions of mud, sand, and lime, and we gave it to the NIT Suratkal lab for testing. The results were okay. Importantly for the shed, we knew that the roof would be bearing its load on the laterite pillars, so the strength of the Adobe walls doesn't matter so much. We went ahead with making the bricks using that proportion. This time, masons Manjunath and Parashuram and their crew started working on making these. This was the first time they were working with Adobe, so it took some learning on site. But soon they were making hundreds of bricks every day. By the way, the economics of this may not be practical for most. The financial cost of making these Adobe bricks at such a small scale is more than the readily available laterite, especially in states like Karnataka and Kerala, because here labor is less cheap, which is a good thing. And remember, laterite involves mining, which is not exactly friendly to our environment. We plan to tell you a lot more about Adobe and the brick making process in a separate video. Once the bricks dried, it took a couple of weeks and the masons began expertly laying them along with the windows. Now, seeing the termite activity, we realized that we should have put some teak leaves or oil or stone or lime mortar as a buffer between the frame and the mud. Another note for our home building. The building up of the walls went by quite fast, especially compared to how long it took for them to hand make the bricks. Once the bricks were laid, we started putting a mud lime plaster on the walls. First, plaster samples were made and then the masons tested them for workability, cracking, strength, etc. and chose the best. Here you can see the workers adding a kadukai jaggery mix and also lime into the sieved sand and the mud mixture. Each of these admixtures performs specific functions. The whole mixture is then pugged and then the mix is ready. Big batches of plaster were made and the exteriors were plastered. Once again, it was the first time the masons were using a mudlime plaster. These days, cement mortar and cement plasters have completely taken over. You would never guess this, seeing them go though. Watching how quickly Manjunath and Parashuramanna adapted reassured us that with a certain amount of knowledge sharing and exchanging, we will definitely find good masons to work on our future Adobe home. Along the way, we realized that we needed a toilet and a bathroom on site for ourselves as well as the workers who may be staying overnight. So we later added that into the design. Just like before, we made a shallow foundation and pillars of laterite stone. In the toilet area, walls are usually made of burnt bricks as they do not deform with moisture. But we only had a limited amount of burnt bricks on site, so we used that in the lower rungs, which are the most water prone. And for the above rungs, we stuck to Adobe. The masons then plastered the toilets and the plumbers installed the commode and our toilet was set. Get ready for the tour. Welcome to our mud shed. Wardrobe, our kitchen, our fan, and we also have a brand new toilet which doesn't have a door yet, but we'll fix that soon. It has plumbing and everything, and it also has a shower, no shower yet, but a bathroom. This is where the water comes from.